Okay, with Jerrod D. Brito, Horned is the short film, micro short. It's 4 minutes long. Played at the Horror Underground Film Festival. Genius idea. I really like this idea a lot, but you executed it too because it's very realistic. About it's just about this kind of like I guess influencer or TikToker kind of live streaming, and then of course horrific things happened. I guess right.
Yeah,
Pardon the
you
pun.
could say that. Really depends on who you're rooting for.
Yeah, I guess certain generations, guess will root for somebody, right? But he kind of comes across as a normal. I guess I described him as kind of like a Zac Efron, kind of grungy or kind of like goth Zac Efron, I guess. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that is a good description.
Yeah, handsome guy, likable, probably. You could see that he would be a live streamer, right?
Yeah, he's got a charm to him.
Where did you find him?
Well, because of the subject matter, we really wanted to make sure everybody was comfortable on set. We actually came across a couple who definitely fit this these characters. They like really, dark things. Um, the female performer in it ended up working at a haunted house because she really loves, getting up in the makeup and the scare factor and everything. So like they just were a natural fit for the characters.
So you were like, how did you find them? You just did a casting call, or
No. So originally I wanted to shoot a horror film and I didn't want to be limited with how explicit necessarily it was. And we actually found a couple of Instagrammers who have like an OnlyFans page. So we reached out to them, and they were a little hesitant because they're like, "This is weird. This is a horror movie." Like,
yeah?
and so yeah, they really went for it.
Do they live in you live in like Colorado, correct?
Correct.
So
Yeah,
did
I
they
think.
live in your area then, or
Yeah, they were from Chicago, but they've been in Colorado for I think a year or two,
okay?
and so we just happened to find somebody local who was completely down with the script. So it was easy for them to just be who they were.
And there's like a little bit of, I guess, nudity, I guess, in the film too, right?
Yes, that's the cut that you saw was the censored version. Um, we ended up submitting it to Dan Savage's Hump Film Festival, and it was accepted. So there's like another cut of it out there that's a little more hardcore. But I guess that was my challenge. I wanted to make a horror movie that could have all this other content, but could be stripped down and still just be a horror movie, no matter how you cut it or censored it.
Yeah. So why did you censor it to us? Like, why did you do that? Just because you were worried that it was too much?
Yes. um, there's like it's not like that much. There's probably only about 30 seconds more footage in that version, including a surprise ending where the main actor body part gets cut off and lands right in front of the screen as the final little punchline. But I wasn't sure how that would be received by other festivals, so I did two cuts.
You know why I don't like seeing that? It kind of gives me the willies.
the, the willies. Yeah, that's exactly how people perceived it. The producer, she got it off of Etsy and she sent the picture to some of her friends,
Yeah.
and all the male friends were just horrified. Like she didn't give any context with it, but all of her female friends thought it was hilarious. So
Isn't that your worst nightmare though? Like, do you become less of a person when that happens if you get your penis cut off?
uh, I haven't found out firsthand yet, and I hope I never do.
Yeah.
I imagine it'd be very traumatizing, and I thought that would be a great way to end a horror film is with like the ultimate horror, because the main character is a little arrogant, and I think he kind of pays for that in the end.
He doesn't deserve getting his cock chopped off
I
for
think I think
the
the
rude
majority of
reaction.
people don't. Yeah, I think that's but it's got to be a horror. There's got to be some fear involved,
Yeah.
and I can't think of a worse one for somebody in his profession in that film. So
Especially someone so young. But he Ben Johnson is the credited actor, and you have him as the camera operator as well. I guess he shot his own film.
Uh, we we shot a lot of it. Like we shot there was the GoPro that was strapped up there, and we kind of gave him like a crash course in framing. And because we didn't have an intimacy coordinator, but we still wanted them to be comfortable, we actually just had him frame up the shots, showed him what to do, and left the two of them alone in the bathroom, which is a very cramped spot, and hoped we got what we were looking for. Um, we there's like some more shots that I wanted to get, some more compositions, but we put their comfort first. We want to make sure they were having a good time and that they were in total control. And we just kind of got out of the way and let them perform.
All right, so who's who? She's the is it horny Tory? That's the who you're referencing, or is it Bloody Mary?
Oh, the horny Tory. Yeah,
Bloody
that's
Tory,
Nat.
Natalie, and then who's Bloody Mary?
That was I forget the name she used.
Lexi Luther.
Lexi Luther, yes.
That's her real
Um,
name? No.
no, that's her professional stage name. But we searched for like friends or friends of friends, and like a friend of the producer suggested her, and she was all about it. We had her come down and audition, or actually we no her we auditioned online, and we had her like she like we told her if you're going to be covered up in makeup, you're going to have a veil on, like no one's really going to see you, but we still want to see something like really intense. And I don't even think the scream was in the script. I think she just delivered this blood curdling scream, and we were like, yeah, that's who we're going to cast for Bloody Mary.
Gotcha. And so basically do they know each other before, the two of them? Because it does get intimate, I guess, like literally. And like, did they know each other, Ben and Natalie, before the film?
Yeah, so they're a couple.
Oh, gotcha.
Found
Okay,
them as a couple,
gotcha.
and then when we found Lexi, we had them talk over like we had like a Zoom meeting just so they could get to know each other and be comfortable with what they were going to have to do. Obviously, there was no dismembering of anything, but somebody's going to have a piece of glass within a few feet of you. You want to make sure you know them well enough to do that, to
Yeah,
trust them.
100%. And then I love the comments, right? Where it's like, oh, this is fake. And I love like it's just funny because this is what people would read if this was real. This would people you should actually put it on TikTok and just tell people this is real, right? Like and see how they react.
Yeah, we kicked that around. That's I really liked doing that because there are things that you're kind of forced to look at, but you don't have to look at them because there's this other story that's
Yeah.
playing out. I try to like put as much on the screen as possible, as much information, not necessarily to distract, but just to like flesh it out and make it feel more realistic.
No, but you know what happens? It makes people want to watch it again, right? So because there's a
That's
lot
good.
going on.
Yeah, I hope they do watch it again.
Yeah, I totally did. I watched it like a few times, and yeah, it's very smart. So, what's your experience? Is like horror? Is horror your genre? Is that what you kind of like always kind of work on?
That's what I try to work on. I think I'm actually much better at comedy.
Well,
Um,
this is kind of a comedy.
Yeah, I like things that Sam Raimi does because there's like moments I think especially in Drag Me to Hell where it's so horrifying, but it's also kind of funny, and I'm emotionally just confused. Like I don't know how I should be reacting to what I'm seeing and experiencing, and I try to incorporate some of that in here. Like I wanted the horror of it, but also some humor in it. So I do prefer to write horror, but I think I'm actually probably a little better at comedy.
Gotcha. And then some of them is on your YouTube channel, I guess, right?
Yeah, I have a few there, and there's a few in the works. There's a few things coming out. There's one on streaming that I wrote, but it's more of a psychological thriller. But yeah, I want to experiment with all of it, like supernatural horror, psychological horror, maybe folk horror sometime.
And you did a Star Wars fan film too, right? That's on YouTube.
Yes, spoiler alert. It's a fan film about fans when episode 7 was coming out.
It's sort of making fun of them, or in a sense.
Uh, no, it was actually inspired by a true story. I had a friend who constantly ruined movies for me that I didn't have a chance to see because I was always
Gotcha.
working. And so, like, what better film than Star Wars coming out? It's about a guy who really wants to see it. Alex Campbell, terrific actor. I love working with him. And his friend Dylan Welter, who has the actor's name is Dylan Welter. He hadn't seen the friend for a long time, but he kept trying to spoil the new Star Wars because there's so many leaks online, and it was way before Episode 7 was coming out. So I just had to make up a bunch of spoilers. Thankfully, none of them turned out to be true.
Gotcha.
But
Oh God, yeah. Is this the movie where Han Solo dies? Oh no, I just gave up the spoiler. I just spoiled the whole film for everybody.
yeah, I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No, is that
I
is that
definitely
that's the movie, right? When he dies?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. Put in a spoiler, like I made up character names and
Yeah.
like
It
yeah, it
was
was
shocking when I saw it in the theater, and it was like you don't see it coming, right? So
my heart was broken. I knew Harrison Ford wanted to opt out like in Episode 6,
yeah,
but I
he
didn't
wanted to
think
die. Yeah, I heard he wanted to die. Yeah.
yeah.
He should have probably would have made a more cooler film, right? Because it's too happy. Like the reason why Empire works so, oh my God, I'm going down Star Wars. I just one last point. The reason why Empire works so well because there's a bitter sweetness to it, right? It's like Return of the Jedi, just too happy for everybody. Even Darth Vader, who's a mass murderer, they're like, oh, we're gonna like him too, right? It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think their point was just to make a happy ending. They just had the pendulum swing from
Yeah,
like victory to sorrow back to victory, and they did the opposite for the second trilogy, and then the third trilogy. I don't even want to get started on the third trilogy.
I haven't even watched it yet. I should watch it.
Uh,
I should go take a look at it. So
I have mixed feelings. A lot of people did, I think.
yeah, I'm not like a Star Wars fan. I was a kid growing up, so I just remember wanting to see the Episode 7, of course, because we heard that all these people were back, right? So, anyways, so basically, yeah, it looks like a pretty cool film. So, like, I love this film. It's like there's something genius about your micro short. Like I said, it's just got so much rewatchability in it. It's just like it's easy to program kind of anywhere, and it's just like there's like I said, like it's like kind of a thematic to our times, like the world that we live in now.
Yeah. First of all, thank you. That's a huge compliment. And yeah, I think it's. I don't know if this will be very relevant like 5 years from now, but with the technology as it is now and how people are on the internet right now, it just kind of fits, I think. Just kind of captures the whole, especially with the uncertainty, the fun of creepy pastas. I don't know if that'll be as fun in a few years. Um, but reviving like the whole Bloody Mary idea, just a little of the classic thrown in some new technology and such. It was a blast for us to do.
And like it's funny you said it won't be relevant in 5 years because you're saying in a way you're saying that these influencers might things are going to evolve. I guess is that what you're predicting?
Yeah, they always do. Like I don't know. It just seems like even I look at some of the things I did just a few years ago and they seem so outdated. There was when I wrote the script for Sleep Tight at the end, this really smug kid thinks he outsmarts a demon, and he does all these victory dances. And the kid who was playing the actress said, like, nobody dabs anymore. That was last year. Like, that's not the new dance. So he had to like come up with like new things. It seems like things just move so fast. I don't know. I guess I caught this one at the right time.
Yeah, I don't know because like yeah, influencers have been around for a while. Like they started on YouTube, I guess, right? Like almost 20 years ago, and then they're still there, I guess. But it's kind of like it's more about selling something. But yeah, it's interesting to see where this is headed. So what did you think about the audience? We send the audience feedback to you. What did you think about what they had to say?
Um, I was thrilled that people liked it and connected with it. There were people who said they don't really like the whole. I don't think it was necessarily the found footage genre, but like people who do the influencer thing. So it took him a minute to get into it, but then after the ball started rolling and he saw where it was going, he seemed pretty entertained by the end. And that's really nice. I thought it would be like a very specific small group who would appreciate this, and it seemed like people who don't really get into this um, actually kind of sat through it and didn't hate it so much. So that was a really good feeling.
You know why? Because it's where the perch that I sit in, there's so many bad films like with this kind of concept. Think they're because it's kind of like they think it's easy, right? Oh, we'll do this, and it's like, and there's no story, there's no heart. There's heart in your film, and there's thematic and there's substance to it. Like it's like so. I think people are like there's like a kind of like a negative connotation. It's like, oh, okay, but then you kind of like watch your film, and it's like, oh, you get into it. So I think that that's sort of the journey the audience is going through.
Well, I want to thank everybody for watching that did, because it really made our day. I sent it to the producer. She was ecstatic. We really appreciated it.
So what are you working on now?
Oh, lots of stuff. I'm currently writing in a chapter 3 of a horror-based escape room in Colorado. It's called 303 Escape. It's based on a horror, or it's inspired by like the H.H. Holmes type serial killer. It looks like an old creepy hotel, and there's 3 chapters to it, and we're currently developing the third chapter. So I am fortunate enough to be able to co-write that. Um, the I'm also writing I wrote a 6-issue graphic novel that I'm having illustrated now by a really talented artist named Martin Jimenez, and he's in Argentina, and he just delivers really beautiful pages. It's like kind of a zombie story, but it's really the zombies in the background. It's really about mental health and being isolated in a clinic, hence the name Patient. But you can check out his work at nncomics.com. And I'm developing a script for I think it's called Killer Rental is the current title. It's like a 90s for like it's a fun 90s, kind of feels like the summer of 84, but a little lighter.
Yeah.
And then I'm working on a feature called The Hairy Ones, which is like a Bigfoot film that we're going to shoot in South Carolina. I want to say next year, but like we're kind of slow going on that. And I have a short film with Jake Bird, Jake Bird Productions called Dance with the Devil, A Dance with the Devil. It's a possession short. It's in post production right now. I've seen the stills from it. It looks terrifying. It's like just a creepy little uh, possession short. And I co-wrote Volumes of Blood 3 for Blood Moon Pictures, which I think it's on hold right now, but I'm really hoping that they get that going very soon. Got halted by COVID, as a lot of projects did. So I'm hoping they can bring that back around very soon.
Wow. So you're busy.
Very busy.
You're getting it done.
Trying. I'll go crazy if I don't.
Well, I wish you the ultimate best of success. This film's like I said, this film's a no-brainer success. Acceptance at any festival. I don't even see how it cannot be accepted because it's just this it has like so many parallels of like comedy. Like I said, I've already repeated myself, but I have a feeling this film's going to do very well for yourself if you wanted to. And it looks like you're just like you said, but at the same time, you're just keep going, you keep moving forward. So I'm sure we'll talk again soon when you make your next film.
Awesome. I hope so. Thank you so much. And for everyone in the festival, like you have a great program. The feedback thing is great. Like everything you provide for um, festival entrance is fantastic. 5 stars.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.